Live from Coral Springs, Florida, we welcome you to another Friday night matchup. This is Ryan Stout along Chris Jenkins here on HSBNSports.com. We got a live matchup for you tonight with Coral Springs Charter Panthers versus the Coral Shores Hurricanes. Coming from Coral Springs, we got the coin toss going on right now. We got a great night tonight, a full broadcast and a lot of action coming your way. America, home of the brave. We got a big day. And we're excited for this day, and we're going to have a special tribute tonight, not only on the field, but for the broadcast as well. Once again, Ryan Stout alongside Chris. Chris, how's it going, man?
Feeling pretty good, my friend. As you said, got a good matchup coming up tonight. Coral Shores in town, from down the Keys area, trying to pick up their first W, taking on a charter squad, trying to pick up their third. So you got two teams on opposite sides, the win spectrum. But Shores is a formidable opponent, although they're coming in at 0-2. Nice ground game, 250-plus yards last week. So they will definitely be a tough test for Charter to stay undefeated against tonight.
Well, as you can see, the coin toss, the Charter Panthers are going to receive the ball tonight. Coral Shore is going to decline and wait to the second half to get the ball. Like you said, hopefully we're going to see some balls on the ground. Big-time running game coming out of Coral Shores. And Charter, I feel like they're all around offensively. They got great weapons on the offensive side, and they got some big hitters on the defensive side as well. So we're going to open up this game. We got the presentations of colors coming up soon, so if you've joined us before, at this time we're going to go silent on the air. We're going to keep the mics hot, the cameras live. We have the chorus class from Coral Springs Charter that is going to open up the presentation, and the Panthers are in the house. Coral Springs Charter Panthers opening up this night with 2 wins in the books.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I could ask everybody's attention, please. Across the field at the 50-yard line is the Coral Springs Cadet Squadron of the Civil Air Patrol. The color guard commander is Kenny Lassiter. Also on the team is Michael Cassell, Nicholas Cassell, and Pedro Termero. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise, remove your caps for the presentation of the flag of the United States of America.
stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave, of the free.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing while the colors are retired from the field. That was the Coral Springs Charter Panther Encore.
The Coral Springs Charter Panther Encore. Thank you so much for that special moment, and we want to recognize today that is a somewhat special day to celebrate America, celebrate our freedom, celebrate ultimately the people that are just passionate about this place and
Of
the people
course.
that are involved, and we want to our prayers and our special thanks to those that were there on September 11th that day. Our prayers are with the families and those that were there to support that situation, and we thank you ultimately.
Yes, a somber day, but days will be remembered, of course.
First responders that are here with us
So-
tonight. We're looking at it as a
We will always keep those individuals in thoughts and prayers as far as the survivors are concerned, the ones that risked their lives and lost.
Absolutely. Today we are going to celebrate America, and why not do it with a Friday night football game? There's
Oh,
football
yeah.
going on around the entire country, and we're going to celebrate it tonight with the Charter Panthers and Coral Shores. We're going to kick this ball off and get this thing rolling.
So the Hurricanes are going to kick it off, and you got Sean Walters ready to go. And go back deep for the Panthers. Two of their specialers. And taking it on the hop, but still keeping his feet, weaving through the defense with good field position. Number 15, Demetrius Rufus. We get it going for you here, the Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida.
And this evening's broadcast was made possible by the following: playingtherecruitinggame.com, stealthrating.com, Bleacher Graphics, www.bleacher.com, and KDAFoundation.org.
First play of the contest, Ryan. Charter getting busy with the running game. Pick up about 15 on the carry. You'll see a steady dose of Kalen Carson, 5'8" senior. And we got a fresh set of downs coming up. No score thus far, 11:30 on the clock, first quarter of play. Charter, first possession, shaking the defender is Miller, and gets what he can, gets back maybe to the line of scrimmage, and that'll bring him up a second and about 9.
A.J. Miller, one of our impact players tonight, alongside a couple other big boys on the Panther side.
And you got to feel good for him and getting his first full season, hopefully, as a starting QB. Got injured, second game of the year last year for the Panthers.
Collarbone.
Yes, broken collarbone. So unfortunate for him, but he's coming out balling so far, and it's his first pass up. Incomplete, looked like it was intended for Carson. off his fingertips. That'll bring up a 3rd down and long situation. Now, you look at the Hurricanes. This is a team 0-2 coming in, trying to pick up their first W of the season. Got the win over Springs last year. First game of the season in a tight one. 38-35 the final. That was at Coral Shores. So Charter looking to get a little revenge. 3rd down long situation. 3 wides to the far, 1 to the near. 1 back set for A.J. Miller. In the shotgun. And gives a handoff. Carson still shaking the finish near side. Gets close to the sticks. He may have enough. I think he will. That'll keep the drive alive. So in a big 3rd and long situation, Charter comes up big. 2nd first down of the contest, and they keep it moving. 11-12 on the clock. Charter's on the move. No score thus far from Coral Springs Sportsplex. We're in Coral Springs, Florida. Of course, Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stott on the mics with you. Thank you for joining us wherever you may be watching or listening. We thank you for doing so. Got a good one for you tonight. Miller in the shotgun. Once again. And gives a handoff once again to keep it on the ground. And that's going to be enough to bring up probably a 2nd and about 3. He gains about 7. Michael Carrion on the carry.
Carrying 3rd string running back. Coach Miller talked to him this past week. He said probably one of their best running backs. Pound for pound, they had a chance to show him out in their first game of the season, and he had some outstanding stats.
He's
so
definitely
I guess they're trying him out.
Got the size for it. They fake to him again and throw it a little bubble screen pass down the sidelines. Popped out right around the 5-yard line. Number 10 on that one, John Multimer, bringing it in. So Charter knocking on the door, Ryan getting close here in this one.
Another impact player for tonight, Charter Panthers, John Multimore. Seeing there, you're going to see him at linebacker tonight, but hey, he's going to get his hands on the ball as well. That's pretty exciting.
We were talking about Carrion, 6'1", 190, so some really good size.
Out of practice, I mean, pound for pound, this young man looks like a mini grown man.
Yes. Yeah, he's got the size for sure to cause some damage. So 2 back set. Rolls, completes this one, maybe right at the, I want to say the line of scrimmage, might be 1 or 2 on the play.
And that's going to be a reception by Zach Weber, another impact player for the Panthers tonight. Got a lot of great guys on this team, and as you can see, if you joined us in previous games or you've been on hsbnsports.com, we have been following Charter as a partner school for the past 3 weeks. So when you get a chance, go to that Coral Springs Charter partner school tab. You'll see all the impact players, you'll see all the scholar athletes, and you'll be updated on everything that's been going on this season.
So we got a 2nd down and goal situation. Ball inside the 10 for Miller in the pistol formation. Fires one straight up the middle, in the gut, heart of the defense, touchdown Panthers. He's going to get in from about 7 yards out. Just that quick. Little mixed run pass for Charter. Now on the board first. Might be a long night for this Hurricane squad coming in 0-2. Strengths on the defensive and offensive line. They forced a safety in their past 2 ball games, Ryan, so they can put some pressure on the quarterback. We'll see if they can get to Miller throughout the night. Snap is back, kick is down, up, doing good by Bloshinsky. And 7-0 is the count. 9:58 on the clock, first quarter of play.
And once again, you're watching high school sports here Friday night. Coral Springs, Florida on hsbnsports.com. We want to thank all of you for joining us, whether it's around the nation or around the world. We thank you. Once again, you can always tune in from wherever you are and hit us up on Twitter. You want to give us a shout out? We got you. We'll be checking the Twitter feed all night. We'll get on here and give you a big shout out. We always love the feedback throughout the broadcast. So as you're watching, you're enjoying it. If you want to step away to listen to it, hopefully we get some good commentary to you tonight.
It's always interesting to see who's watching.
Yes.
You know,
last week we had Colombia. We had Colombia. We had a lot of European as well tuned in. And to be completely honest, without getting into too much details of what the demographics give us, I believe a lot of military guys are tuned in, guys or women, that are tuned in just to watch maybe some high school football or football in general, American football.
Felder and Bennett back deep for the Hurricanes. We'll see if they can knock this one up in their first offensive possession. Takes it out of the end zone and up across the 25.
And it looked like his knee went down.
Yeah, it was close.
I wanted to
Very
say his
close.
knee almost looked like it hit the ground.
Gonna spot it at the 22 to be exact. It'll be first offensive possession for the Hurricanes.
And to finish up with these impact players for tonight, we want to also include Rafael Rodriguez. You're going to see him on the defensive line, number 57. And like you saw before, John Baltimore is going to be on the defensive side heavily tonight.
Fraylin Warren getting his third start at QB for this Hurricane squad. They decide to go deep, straight up top, far side incomplete. Trying to find Joseph Shelby along the sidelines. So they went for the jugular. First play out the gates. Just a little bit more about this Shore squad. 0-2 in district and overall. Losses to LaSalle and Hope John Paul II. Got up that point total, only averaging 8 points per game, but and allowing 28. So this might be a long night for them if they don't get that ground game going. They had over 250 yards rushing last week, as I spoke to earlier, so they want to run, but mixed it up in that first play. Second play, they're going straight up the gut. Might have got back to line of scrimmage. I don't think anymore. That'll bring up a third down and long situation coming up for them. Chris Judge on the tackle for Charter. We'll call it 3rd and 10 coming up for the Hurricanes. 7-0 the count. Coming up on the 9-minute mark, first quarter of play here from Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida.
And like you said earlier on in the game, this is a big game for Coral Springs Charter, almost a redemption to get back from last season. Charter with only 2 losses last year, not including the state championship game.
Absolutely.
Coral Shores being one of them.
Yeah.
And supposedly stacked last year with a lot of seniors that could run the ball.
And Hurricanes deciding to run it. Couldn't get anywhere with it. They'll have to give it back. Charter going to be in business for their second possession of the contest.
Not the best start for Coral Shores in their own territory.
Carson back deep to receive, and this is a low wobbler. Looking for some kind of help on the roll. Gets across midfield, close to the 45. We'll see where they spot it. And Charter looking good. Second possession of the contest.
A lot of big things happening tonight. As you can see, for those of you who've watched or follow Coral Springs Charter throughout the seasons, they got a special jersey on today. Featured jersey that they got their names on their back. They got some significant things, images on the side, scratches on the top. I'll let Coach Miller.
And you definitely don't get that on a high school level. So I'm envying them for sure. Got the names on the back and everything else. Good point.
Well, it's special for tonight.
So coming out, rolling out, completes this one. And trying to pick up more, and does. Gains about 11 on the completion. Completes to Zach Weber, one of our impact players pulling it in. That'll be enough to move the sticks. It's right at the first down yardage marker. We'll see if they're going to measure. Eyeing it, it looks like it is enough to keep it moving.
And if this is your first time tuning in tonight with HSBN Sports, this is a special broadcast because we're in the independent conference right now. Hit some big-time games last week, Flanagan versus Coconut Creek, and then the first week we had Flanagan versus Marjorie Stoneman Douglas. 2 big-time schools, big-time districts. Not to take away from Charter in any way, but this is the independent conference for those that aren't aware. It's the Southeastern. This division is actually the Southeastern Football Conference within the independent conference here in South Florida.
Well, we both know from covering Charter, and the folks will find out tonight, Charter has risen to become a big-time program within themselves. And as we spoke to, or if we haven't, we're going to speak to the fact that they got to the championship game last year. Lost to Calvary Christian.
Right, runner-up to Calvary Christian. Lost to them in the regular season as well.
Yes.
And like we said earlier, Coral Shores and Calvary, only 2 losses for Charter, but Charter's looking to make history. Adam Miller, we got him quoted saying 8 games away from making Charter school history, being the greatest team that's ever played at Charter. So a lot of expectations for Coach Miller and this Panther football team.
And with 21 seniors and 19 juniors, they have every cause to believe they can get over the hump and make it happen. As we got a 2nd and short, and Miller decides to take it up the gut and gets it.
And he's going to get it. He's got the length. He's going to reach out. I would say about 6'1", 6'2", 200, maybe 210 pounds. He's got the size of your typical Division I quarterback, I would say.
Absolutely.
And had a chance to spotlight himself this year, opening up the season. Last year, like you said, coming out the 2nd game of the season with collarbone. So this is really his time to shine. I know he's excited.
Absolutely. And I think he's going to take full advantage of it. He's in the pistol formation with 2 wides to the far, and they're going to go with the run, but there is a flag on the play. Looks like this one's probably going to come back. We'll see. Ball spotted at the 40 currently.
That's going to be a big-time run by Carson. Carson, I'll tell you something, had a chance to watch him for a couple seasons now, and that young man can run hard. Throughout the season so far, we have 2 games. I've watched the highlight tapes. You can see it. We've posted it on HSPN Sports. This young man is going to run hard, and he's going to be very physical.
So that was a sideline warning. So it did not penalize the Panthers. And they go with a spread set, empty backfield. Miller tries to find some time, sets up, fires one straight up the middle, in and out of the hands of the intended receiver. Another flag on the play. This one's going to go against the Panthers, holding. That'll bring them back 10.
That's a spot foul. He marked from Royal Hill to 3rd.
Giselle McGee, the intended receiver on that. So coming up on the 7-minute mark here, first quarter play. 7-0 is the score. Coral Springs Charter Panthers with the lead over the visiting Coral Shores Hurricanes.
And a big shout out to all our streaming partners tonight. You will see them throughout the night pop up on the screen, their websites and their logos. Big shout out to everyone that's participating and the audience that's coming in from these partners. We thank you for your support.
Well, that's going to mark this one back at the 45 of Charter. And you're going to keep it on the ground. Shaking the defender, still moving. Plowing up the field, up the middle. Kalen Carson spoke to him a minute ago, Ryan, and he gets them back to the original line of scrimmage. It would be 3rd and 10 situation, see if they can keep it moving.
Yeah, the greatest thing is I get a chance to go out on a weekly basis, get to work with these student athletes, just great young men overall. You can tell it's a reflection of the coaching staff.
And Coach Adam Miller, of course, heading this team up, entering his 4th year. And they're going to throw a completion that time, not enough to move the sticks. Nick Desposito gets about 4, so it's still going to be a 4th and about 6. Charter wants to talk about it. So good defensive stand, along with a little help, of course, with Charter picking up the big holding penalty a couple of plays back. So it looks like Charter's going to give it back. Under 6 now. Here in the first, Charter holding on, 7-0 score. And they set up or look like a punt formation. And they're going to go for it. And this might be a cheap 5 coming up. Encroaching against the Hurricanes. So, wow, that's going to bail. Charter out and give them an automatic first to keep this drive alive, or check that, the 5 is going to bring them within sniffing distance of the first down. It's going to be a 4th and 1.
Yep, and number 1, A.J. Miller, is going to step back out on the field. The offense is making a decision. They're going to get this first down. So
either way, a bold move by Coach Miller.
Yes,
Adam
it is.
Miller going for it on 4th down and 6. Got the cheap 5. Now they're within 1 yard. Offense still on the field, trying to keep the drive alive. Pistol formation now. And a spread set. He goes with a little short pass, incomplete.
Pass is incomplete. Official timeout.
And like you said, a bold move. Oh, thank you. Like you said, a bold move here for Coach Miller, going for it early in the game.
Pass intended for Desposito. Coral Shores will get the second position of the contest with good field position. We'll see if they can knock this one up at 7. They're going to start. We'll call it their own 31, 1st and 10, coming up 5:12 left here in the first.
Well, bold move, but couldn't get it.
Yeah.
4th and what? Sniffing distance, you said? So we say about 1 yard. And they go for a pass.
Which is
And,
surprising.
and one of my favorite commercials right now is, can't think of the running back for the Seattle
Oh,
Seahawks.
Mr. Lynch. Mr. Lynch.
Commercial talking
Beast.
about why throw it when you can run it.
Yeah, of course.
Why throw it when you can run
They're
it?
going to regret that one forever.
Yeah.
If you don't watch football, you know what they should have done in that game. So, just ridiculous.
And not to say it's going to have the same impact here.
Yeah.
Early on in the game, going to make a decision. You got to live with it. But points on the board. Is that right? Did we already get points on the board? So we got 7
Yeah.
for the home team? I feel like I'm missing stuff.
Okay. So Warren gets it off. Actually gives it off to Frisoni. And they actually lost a half a yard. So we'll see if they can take advantage of this good field position. As we've said, this is a running team that had over 250 yards running last week. They've have a back in Frisoni, Nick Frisoni, the senior, that has had over 100 yards rushing for 2 straight weeks. And they face a 2nd and 11 now, and they go with the pitch sweep and hand a fall on it, went right through his hands. Lost. Chasnick had a little pitch sweep set up for him. Took his eye off the ball.
Little wing T action, little misdirection. I'll tell you one thing. We ran this out in Kansas in the KCAC. We were the only team within 10 teams that ran the wing T. It's tough to go against, I'll tell you that. When you're preparing for a majority, you can assume that most offenses, not just in South Florida, but around the nation, are going to run spread type.
And we got a 3rd and forever coming up. And they decided to go up the middle with a run, and the Charter defensive line not having it. Just stuffed it right at the line of scrimmage. Well, the line of scrimmage, not the original, but around the 20.
John Baltimore, a couple times tonight we've seen him in that pile, if not by himself. Impact player for the Panthers tonight. Number 10, you're going to see him all around the field, and as you can see, that young man doesn't have a neck.
Carson back deep and gets the punt off, and this is just bad. It maybe gets a net of about 20 yards. And Charter is knocking on the door already. Barely able to get that one off with Sean Walters, the kicker and tight end for the Hurricanes. And Charter in business. They got to punch it in. They got a gift.
3:15 to go here, first quarter, 1st and 10.
We'll call it 1st and 10. Ball spotted about the 32 of the Hurricanes. 7-0 in the count, 3:15 on the clock, first quarter play. Here from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida. Nice, cool night. A little humid, but still pretty good.
We're getting close to fall, so we're crossing our fingers.
I'm praying for it to get here. And carry on. busting through defenders.
I'm telling you, Coach Miller told me a couple weeks ago, they gave him a chance. First game of the season, he turned some heads, and now look at it. He's getting in the rotation.
That just makes this charter offense all the more formidable to be able to have him to go to. And of course, that keeps the drive alive. Got just enough to make first down yardage, around 11 on the carry. Pistol set. 2 wide to the near, 1 to the far. They go to carry with carry on once again. Shaking the fingers. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Panthers. And just that quick, we got a double-digit margin. 13 up in the count, extra point ensuing. Hurricanes in some trouble at this point. 2:54 on the clock. Bolshinski set for the extra. And snap is back. Kick is up, through, and good. So Charter trying to get a little revenge. And looking good thus far in this one. Mix of pass and run. Probably more, a little bit more run than pass. Probably 70, I'm going to say 60-40.
Yeah, I mean,
pass run so far.
Look, if you can control the ball like Panthers are controlling right now, there's no doubt we won't see a lot of the passing game. So Coach Miller has the weapons to do it on the outside. But if you're successful up the middle, why not stick with it? Carry on with a substantial amount of yards this far. And with points on the board already. So, like you said early on, hey, it may be a high-scoring game for the Charter Panthers, but if they can control that offense on the defense for the Hurricanes, then...
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how the Hurricanes handle this. They have not admittingly got off to good starts, have faced a deficit going into halftime in every game before they were able to turn it around in the second half. And as we've spoke to, the defensive and offensive lines are their strengths. So they may be able to try and control the tempo of this as we get the kickoff. And
we didn't see a knee down there, so. But touchback, going to kick it into the end zone. High school football, they're not going to let him return it.
Yeah, he was probably about at least 7 yards deep. Bennett, and then catching that one. And they're going to start off 1st and 10 at their own 20. Facing a 14-point deficit, 2:51 on the clock here in the first. And here we go. Fraylin Warren, sophomore QB. And they go with a handoff. Off tackle. Number 23, Ariel Carrera, senior running back. And Charter wants to talk about it and call it first timeout of the half. 2:36 on the clock here from the Sportsplex in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins, Ryan Stout, breaking it down for you.
Third week into the season, and we're excited, always happy to be out here, whether it's a Friday. Now we're getting some day games, getting close to those Dade County Thursday, Saturday night games as well. We projected 19 games. Who knows how many games we'll get this season, but ultimately we're glad we could be here. We're glad we could put a spotlight on these young men on the field tonight, because that's our main focus, is to make sure that eyeballs are on the whole team. Got some impact players, got some scholar athletes that we're featuring to put that spotlight, to give that broadcast, to give that attention to those young men. But I tell them week beforehand, when we come in, you are representing the team tonight. So big time athletes, impact players all over the field, kickers and all. We got a great Charter team out here tonight. So we're excited to cover them. We got a couple more games. I believe 4 home games with the Charter Panthers.
So we're going to get a good dose of them.
I think so.
And this is their home opener. And they're looking good so far, 14-0. Hurricanes trying to answer They go with a little wraparound play. Gain about 5. We'll say 4 on the play. And the carry number 30 that time. Bly Hofstetter.
Got 3 running backs in the backfield. When's the last time you saw that?
Yeah, that's a very much a throwback.
Yeah, wishbone.
It's almost unheard of nowadays.
Last time I saw 3 running backs in the backfield, almost in a wishbone set, I would say, Little League.
Well, this team wants to pound, and then pound. I'm talking to Coach Holly. He said, you know, we need to limit their big plays, wrap up and tackle, but we want to control the tempo. And they go with a 3rd and 5. Carrera pounding. He picks up some big yards. Woo! Nice run.
Well, you're going to see a lot, usually the North Florida teams. In South Florida, you're going to get a lot of spread action type offensive schemes. When you get close to the North Florida, as we get closer to those playoff and state championship games, you're going to see teams like Jacksonville Bulls that are going to run these wing T type misdirection type offenses. So it's nice to see some flavor.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He just took it right to that Charter defense. Carrera picking up big yards. Keeps the sticks moving. They want to run again. And gains about 2 on the play. But he was 1 tackle away from taking that to the house. 70-plus yards. And Hurricanes will have another crack at it going into the half with 2:29 remaining. See if they can control the clock and cut this lead down to 14.
Military and first responders, if we can get everybody to the south side of the
I want to say the ball spotted at
so we need all of our first
25 for the Hurricanes.
Participate in our halftime celebration. We need to get the south entrance to the field right now. Thank you.
And a high pitch to the far side and trying to pick it up and get what he can.
Second down. Once again, if we could ask everybody that's going to participate in our halftime celebration, any of our first responders,
Approaching the 2-minute mark here.
make your way out to the south entrance to the field.
Hurricanes trying to get something going into the half, cut into this lead, and give himself a chance to get back into this one. And that was a big loss on that play. Second and about 16. And they're going to go with the run to try and get something back. Minimal gain. They're still going to be 3rd and probably about at least 15 or so. Coming up 1:30, under a minute 30 left here in the second. And Coach Ed Holly and the Coral Shores Hurricanes trying to hang in there with the Coral Springs Charter Panthers. And in a big hole, down 21, 28-7 to be exact. And they're going to keep it on the ground once again. A little misdirection. No gain. So Panthers, if they choose to do so, might be able to get a little something going. I believe they got 1 timeout left, but time is of the essence at this point. Clock stopped with 42.7. And Charter might be plotting a little bit. They're going to be in excellent field position. May have it inside of Coral Shores territory based on the punting efforts by the Hurricanes so far. We'll see. They can get it going and punch one in before the half. Wherever you may be watching and listening, we thank you for doing so. We are on HSPN Sports. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout bring you the action from Coral Springs Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida, of course. Home opener for your Coral Springs a punt situation for the Hurricanes. Charter in business.
Coral Shores 4th down, taking out their own end zone. 42 seconds left here in the first half. Walters gets it off.
Walters get this one off. This was a nice high one. Gets a little bounce. And got a little something going, and finally tripped up, and about 12 will call it on the return.
But he almost outkicked the coverage. It was too good of a kick. And a little bit of a return there, but still not bad considering.
And Kalen Carson back deep for the return. Charter in business
with a 21-point deficit.
Inside of Hurricane territory, but not a lot of time. Only 32 seconds remaining here in the second.
Lots of talent on this offense. A.J. Miller orchestrating it. Very nice.
Miller in the shotgun, one back set, rolling to the near side. Has something. Fires one and completes it. Nice fingertip catch. Weber pulling it in. He's dropped a couple, but made up for it on that one. And Charter in business. They're rolling.
24 and now moving.
Time is of the essence. Coming up on 20 seconds and point hole going into the half. Coming out of the timeout. Charter on the move.
Here.
Miller is in the shotgun, goes with the little screen pass, and over that left side, near side, dives! Touchdown Panthers! And that's a backbreaker, but we'll see. I think we got flags. We'll see if it stands.
Flag, I believe, somersault. We'll see what they call here. It was a touchdown for Calvin Jackson there.
And of course, Mr. Jackson making it happen. See if it stands. Got the little screen pass and took over from there. We'll see what we got here.
They sort out here as he.
And they are waving off the flags. So, backbreaker of sorts for the Hurricanes. The touchdown will stand. And with 12.7 remaining, we got a 34-7 contest. So we're looking at a running clock with one more score going into the second half. Loshinsky, the extra point.
Defense can tighten up. I think Coach Holly was giving an explanation there from the head referee. So a slight delay. They're going to set up for the extra point here.
So flag waved off. Touchdown will stand. Kick is up through and good.
Charter.
So, wow, we got a 28-point contest, 35-7 Charter. Stumbled a little bit, making it happen. And going into the half, they're going to be up by 28. And we'll see if Hurricanes can come up with a Charter team that's loaded and has taken well advantage of all the talent that they have, as well as the experience. So a botched kickoff, picks it up and gets it close to the 25, but popped in the process on the return. You want to see that with the junior Bennett, Josiah. And if you're the Hurricanes, you just want to get in and regroup. 7.4 on the clock, second quarter, and they are down big, folks. 35-7 to count.
First and 10 for the Hurricanes.
Charter putting it on them so far.
2 interceptions on the night for Flair Lon Warren. He's had a nice game though. The 1 interception not his fault. Tip ball.
Warren once again.
He's going to hand it off to right.
Hands it off.
Nice big hole right there for Taylor Goody.
Nice hole.
It's a gain of over 10 yards, and that should just about clear it.
For the young man.
Left to go here.
0.9 after the run.
doubtful the Kings will even get another snap off unless they take a timeout.
I'm going to go ahead and move away from the official up here to stop the clock. Just so I don't get hit with the shrapnel. That is the end of the first half.
And that'll be the
First
first
clock restarts after they mark the change.
half in the books.
For the first half,
And we've got a blowout ensuing. 35-7, Coral Springs Charter handling the Coral Shores Hurricanes so far in this one.
Well, that was interesting.
Yeah.
We apologize for the technical difficulties we experienced in the past couple minutes. Unfortunately, battling YouTube right now. Had some issues with music in the background during our pre-show. So going back and forth, once again, we apologize, and we are glad you're still with us. Those that have stuck with us, this is High School Game Day, brought to you by HSBNSports.com. We've got a 35-7 score. We are in halftime right now. We thank Chris Jenkins for taking on the audio for the past couple minutes, doing his thing. Right now, we have the presentation of the Charter Band. Half times, we always focus in on the bands if they have one. And Charter's going to show off their skills right now. But ultimately, we want to give a shout out to the people that made this broadcast possible this evening. Playing the recruiting game.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, first off, we're going to meet Jenny Morion.
StealthRating.com.
Of Rufus O'Brien, and she is an Army Sergeant. Jenny Morion. Up next, we're going to meet Peyton Multimer.
Bleacher Graphics. That is also www.bleacher.com.
And he is part of the U.S. Marine Corps, ladies and gentlemen. Peyton Multimer.
And the Keeping Dreams Alive Foundation, KDAfoundation.org.
Sean Harrigan Judge. He is the brother of our defensive and offensive lineman Chris Judge. He is currently active duty in the U.S. Air Force Senior Airman Class E4 Special Forces. Served 2 tours in Afghanistan. In addition to his brother Chris and the Panthers.
At this point, we're going to leave our audio on. Give you a chance to take a break. Thank all of our streaming partners out there. Once again, you can follow us on Twitter, social media, all of the streaming partners. There's much more than live broadcasts, much more than live scores going on throughout this Friday night. We know you guys are getting information all throughout South Florida, all across the nation, but once you get a chance, take your chance over at hsbnsports.com. Check out some of the articles, check out some of the news, check out some of the stuff that is really going on, and to our streaming partners, check out the information that they provide. We're going to drop the mics right now and let this Charter Band do their thing. We'll be right back. Thanks for joining.
Nick and Alexis Greco. He was an airman first class in the U.S. Air Force Station in Taipei, Taiwan during the Vietnam War. Up next, Michael Daly. He is the uncle of cheerleader and cheerleader of the week, I might add, Olivia Mora. He's a retired New York City firefighter. He was one of the first responders on 9/11 in New York City. Put your hands together for Michael Daly. Up next, Yvette Delatorre. She is the mother of 10th grader Stephanie Delatorre and the aunt also of the cheerleader of the week, Olivia Mora. She is a City of Hallandale Beach firefighter, and she is here tonight. Yvette Delatorre, thank you. Up next, Brandon Ballweiler, former Coral Springs Charter student. He is the brother of cheerleader Madison Ballweiler. He's a U.S. Marine stationed at Camp Lejeune, North Carolina, and will be deployed overseas this January. In attendance tonight are his parents, Carrie and Jerry, and sister Madison is also here. Up next, from your Coral Springs Police Department, it is my pleasure to introduce Vinny Bonacera. Also, from your Coral Springs Police Department, Jeff Poderica. I hope I said that right, Jeff. I'm working on the spelling. From your Coral Springs Police Department. Put your hands together. Also from the CSPD, Mario Valderrama. Also Coral Springs Police Department and a former U.S. Army. He's the father of Cam Perez, coach, and also Cam His dad was also a former U.S. Marine, so congratulations, guys. That's Robert right there. Sorry about that. Robert Perez, father of Cam, and obviously former U.S. Marine. Also want to congratulate Mike Calkins. He is the grandfather of Desiree Montalvo, a retired Fort Lauderdale firefighter and a Vietnam vet from the Army. Ladies and gentlemen, Mike Calkins. We also want to recognize Sean Swain, one of our football coaches who's a paramedic. Thank you, Sean. Also want to recognize Raul Torres, Coral Springs Fire Department and a paramedic.
I think the halftime. Here's
Also,
like what she
Michelle Shelley, Coral Springs Fire Department and a
this is
paramedic.
like
Thank you
I
for your
record that.
support.
Welcome everyone. It's all pre-recorded.
We also want to
And then I do
recognize
that show.
Teresa Castro. She is the mom of Desiree
There's
Jenkins,
an open.
a
This
petty
is
officer,
wrong.
first
This
class,
flip-flop.
U.S.
There's a
Navy for
pre-recorded
20
open by
years.
somebody coming into
Ladies
me,
and gentlemen,
and then I'm
Teresa
live,
Castro.
and then we do halftime show.
We also want to say hello to Sunrise Police
but
Officer
everything's
Mark
recorded.
Krumanacker,
Yeah,
founder of Mark Krumanacker on our team. Thank you, Mark. Sunrise Police Department. We also want to recognize Gary Gooch. He's a cousin of Mrs. Garris, former U.S. Army, was killed in combat. Gary Gooch, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.
Let's hear it once again for your veterans and first responders. Thank you so much for what you do. All right, Panthers fans, say hello to your 2015 Coral Springs Charter Marching Panthers. There they are. There's the 2015 Coral Springs Charter Marching Panthers, looking great in their blue and white. I'm your host, the voice of the Panthers, Sean, Mr. Wonderful Fernandez. Tonight we'll be taking you to the city that never sleeps, Viva Las Vegas. We'll open with Katy Perry's hit, Waking Up in Vegas. Then Old Blue Eyes, Luck Be a Lady. Then we're going to close with the King, Elvis Presley, Viva Las Vegas. Now sit back and go all in. Amira Abouar, and Stephanie Brown. The staff includes Chris Redrow, Alex Sutton, Maria Essern, and last but not
And we're
least,
getting back to
the
live
pride of
action
Buffalo,
with only
New York.
seconds left
She
on the
was
clock.
soul and soul
Here at
Maria.
halftime, we got a
She is the
score
hardest
of
working lady
35
in show business.
to
She's
7.
your band
Charter
director,
Panthers
Marissa
leading
Fernandez.
Coral Shores Hurricanes here in Coral Springs, Florida at the Sportsplex. Here in Coral Springs, Florida. Almost a cool night. We're getting close to the fall season. So, hey, Florida, do we get seasons? No, but we like to think we do because it keeps us mentally cool. So, always windows open in the box. So, hey, the AC's on. Can't complain too much. It's South Florida, so you live down here for a reason. Ultimately, we've seen a tremendous lead coming off last year. We've talked about it before. Coral Shores taking the W at the end of the night.
Yeah.
Big time offensive game. Last year, running game was big. Tonight, we've seen a couple turnovers. One conversion into a touchdown for the Coral Springs Charter Panthers. But like you were saying, Chris, ultimately, everything has just been flowing for Coral Springs Charter.
Oh, absolutely. They have been able to come alive. They've gotten Mr. Jackson involved offensively, and they haven't looked back. Hurricanes have tried to stay in it. Of course, they have a vaunted running attack, and they have tried to implement that, but it just hasn't stuck. They haven't been able to get points as a result of it, and Charter has. And here we go with a 28-point lead and one more score. Of course, we've got the running clock.
Right.
That's been an issue that the Hurricanes have faced their past two games. They've been a second-half team, but the deficit has been so much that they can't overcome it.
Right.
This is another case in point of that.
Right. You can only let it get out of hand.
Yeah.
So far, as you can see, 28-point lead. The Panthers received the ball first half. They're going to kick it off to the Hurricanes. And once again, like you're saying, we've seen a couple big-time plays in terms of passing for the Hurricanes. So they've pulled some of the stuff out of the box and been successful. Some haven't, but ultimately you need to do something in the game plan. So hopefully Coach Holly put something together in the halftime speech to get these guys going.
And unofficially, Warren is about 4 or 6, somewhere in there. So we'll see what they do as they get the kickoff and cross the 25. Nice little run by Josiah Bennett, the junior. And that might give these Hurricanes a little spark of offense as we start the second half. 38-7 is your score. 11:52 on the clock after the return. And the Hurricanes will start off first and 10 at their own 26, we'll call it.
And that was number 6, Zach Weber, on the tackle here on the kickoff. We're going to introduce those impact players again for the Panther side shortly. Stay with us.
So Coach Holly and the Hurricanes in a hole, trying not to get that running clock going. We'll see if they can get something going offensively to keep it on the ground. And looked like it had a little momentum going, but shut down by that Charter defense, number 23, Ariel Carrera.
I think one of the biggest surprises I've seen throughout the night is the fact we get to see number 10, John Multimer, on the offensive side of the ball. Primary position at linebacker and a headhunter himself. But we've seen him with a couple touches and some successful gains on the offensive side. So that was pretty exciting to see. John Multimer, also impact player for tonight's game, alongside a couple more guys that we're going to get to.
Just adds to the already talent-laden lineup that Charter has, and a host of Panthers on the stop, but even better run. And that brings up a third and long 2.
Well, here's my question. How many times can you run the same play? You know, you could pick a play out, you can pick a formation, you can run it 10 different ways, 10 different times. But ultimately, what we've seen so far tonight is a pretty consistent defense for the Panthers. I think they kind of know what to expect out of these guys.
And no long runs or big, huge plays. They've just been very methodical and keeping his feet moving, and nice run. And on the second attempt, is going to plow forward, and that will keep the drive alive and the sticks moving. Nice run by Ariel Carrera, the senior, 5'11", 205. So he packs a little punch.
Well, if you execute as an individual on the field, regardless if you should be able to tell the defense what the play is. If everybody's executing on time consistently, you should be able to move the ball. And as we can see, hey, we may not get these big time runs, but if you get 4 yards of play, you're looking towards a touchdown.
And that's what the Hurricanes want to do, keep the drive alive. Rolling out and completes this one near side. And Hurricanes getting a little something going.
And there's
that's
our
complete
surprise.
to Austin Seabolt, the senior.
There's that little slip. Hey, we're going to pound it. We're going to pound it. We know what to expect. Are the DBs falling asleep over there? Are they not getting enough action tonight?
Yeah,
Chris?
exactly. Because the Hurricanes have only put it up, I would say, close to 10 times or around there unofficially in this one. So not a lot of action. They're having to come up and stop on the run game. So that's when the Hurricanes are able to get something going offensively in the passing game. Man in motion now. They go with the little run. Little misdirection situation, but they keep it on the ground and still keep it simple.
It's going to look like number 57, Rafael Rodriguez, one of the impact players for tonight, on the stop.
Zach McChesnick on the carry for the Hurricanes. So approaching the 9-minute mark. 28-point contest. Charter in control. They led the whole way in this one. Hurricanes coming out in the second half. They've controlled. They've had the ball the entire third quarter thus far and want to keep these methodical possessions together. Logan in the slot. Logan Cootie. As we've got flags on the play, and this is going to be a false start and back the Hurricanes up 5.
And it's almost unfortunate, think about it. Charter has, I think, probably one of the better defensive backs in the independent conference between Calvin Jackson. You got Rufus on the other side. You got Weber that's at a safety position. I think they're probably one of the better defensive backfield. I'd like to see him get challenged a little bit more. We've seen it a couple times tonight, but...
Well, they're coming into the meat of their schedule, Ryan, so we'll see how they hold up. And then Hurricanes tries to complete something over the middle. We'll see. Haven't said if it's a completion or not, and they will be incomplete. But Pinecrest coming up.
And they're going to give the tie to the offense. It almost looked like they got picked off right there.
Yeah. So it was a dual catch, basically.
Tie goes to the offense.
Yeah.
And
so Hurricanes catch a break.
Yep, they're going to move forward, move those chains, and possibly put some points on the board.
And a 3rd and short situation as they try and keep it going. We'll see. At this point in the game, you got to strongly think about going for it on 4th down. So 4th and short. We'll call it probably 2. Inside of Charter territory, ball spotted across the 40. And they're chewing up the clock. Almost had 5 minutes on this possession. Trying to cut into this lead. They got a long way to go, down 28. And they go on another run, off guard. Carrera.
I'll tell you one thing, though. For linebackers, to be a linebacker playing against a misdirection offensive scheme, it's either going to be really fun or it's going to chew you apart. Because you're trying to read tendencies based on where the linemen are going. Most likely, the linemen are going to tell you which direction to go.
Very true.
But at the same time, our human nature, you want to go after the ball. So when you got a guy in motion, naturally, your eyes are just picking up the things that are moving around.
And they're going to try and put it up in the air on this one. Near side and throws this one. Completes it. Seabolt once again coming up with a big catch. Hurricanes on the move. They complete and convert. And we got a water break, water timeout.
And if this is your first time ever watching a game with HSBN, and we're at home game at the Sportsplex, you're going to notice a large light pole right in front of the box, which we have almost done to completely avoid with a couple cameras out here. But as you can see, it can still get in the way, and we apologize for the lack of what would be architecture abilities. Whoever constructed this stadium needs to come back and do a
because we're talking about a big light pole.
Literally a light pole.
Behind us.
Literally can be behind you. Like most stadiums are, the light pole is usually behind us. This stadium, the box is not even on the 50-yard line.
Yeah.
So might as well put the box right on the 50-yard line, because that's where the light pole is, right on the 50-yard line. So we're going to do our best to get around this giant light pole. We got a couple cameras out there.
Okay, so back to action. Hurricanes on the move. They've been able to get something going, chewing up a lot of clock in this third quarter. And they get this one off. Warren tries to get the pass off. Incomplete. Hurricanes had the ball this entire third quarter thus far. We're coming up on the 6-minute mark, so they've been chewing up a lot of clock. The problem with that is that you're down 28.
Right. If you're going to have possession of the ball, you want to put the ball in the end zone.
Yes.
Simple, stupid.
To have any chance of getting back in this game, they have to score on this possession. Otherwise, they're just chewing up clock for nothing. And we'll see if they can keep it going with a three-back set in the backfield. And pop! Right in the heart of that Charter defense.
And I can't wait to see what Zach Weber, one of our impact players, for tonight. I mean,
and
he
had his nose right in there.
Yeah, these safeties are probably having a field day. 10, 15 yards back from the ball, reading their keys.
Yeah.
They're getting to come downhill. When you have 10, 15 yards to kind of figure out what you want to do and stick your nose in that pile, you've seen it all night.
He got such a hit on that last play, he kind of wobbled back in there into the secondary. But nice stop along with a host of other teammates for Weber and the Charter defense. So try and see if they can get a stop. They're going over the top and incomplete. And Hurricanes lucky they didn't commit another turnover that time. So this is fourth down territory. If you are the Hurricanes, as I said, down 28 in this one, 35-7 is the score. And the Hurricanes have had possession this entire third quarter so far. We're at the 5:19 mark. They just chewed up the clock and methodically moved the ball down the field. But they have to get something going as they face a fourth down situation. Hopefully we can get this one in the books. Lightning approaching. Hopefully we don't have a delay. And a delay against the Hurricanes. So
that doesn't help.
If you weren't in a big enough hole.
Right, that doesn't help. Especially when in your back pocket you don't have as much success throwing the ball. So you're stuck in a position where the Panthers defense can say, well, if they're going to run it, then they got no shot. So they're forced to pass the ball.
So a shotgun, which is a rare formation, and he throws this one up. And we're
waiting for a call.
No signal as to whether we got an interception or not. So they're going to say incomplete. Looked like an interception, but no official ruling by the refs. So Charter's going to take over. Decent field position. We'll call it about the 25.
Well, we might end up in a situation, we've talked about this with Coach Miller previously. He loves to rotate his guys. With 28 points on the board, you know, we're still in the third quarter. We may see some action from some backups tonight.
Look for Demetrius Rufus sighting. He's the backup quarterback to Miller. Miller's still in currently, as Charter's getting their first possession of the third quarter. And they're going to with the bubble screen. Shakes one defender and picks up about, we'll say about 7. And on the reception, number 23, Dominic Grassi. Number 5 now. 28-point game. Charter scores. We got a running clock here in this one. First possession of the third quarter for Charter. And they go to a little middle screen, right up the gut. Still breaking tackle on his feet. It takes a host of Hurricanes to pull him down, but a great call by the Charter defense and chewing them up.
He's a
inside territory.
He's a great runner.
Absolutely.
Kalen Carson has worked extremely hard during the offseason. We had a chance to see him last year. You can go back into the database to see some of the games that we've covered, but Kalen Carson runs with an attitude, and it is seen out here tonight. When that young man gets the ball, whether it's in the backfield or a kickoff return, punt return, this young man is looking for the end zone.
And he is one of the seniors heavily relied on this Panther team, one of the 21 seniors, and they're going to keep it on the ground once again.
It's going to be difficult to see how they're going to replace these guys. Got some big-time seniors. A.J. Miller, Calvin Jackson, like I said, Kalen Carson, I believe Zach Weber as well, Chris Judge. We can go on and on with the list.
Yeah.
I believe you have, did we get a mention how many seniors we have for the Panthers?
I think 21 for the Panthers.
Wow.
Along with 19 juniors. So they're
looking
okay.
They're going to rebuild
next year as well. But these seniors want that championship bad as they go with the little bubble screen action and drop that time. I believe that pass intended for Robert LeBlanc. Excuse me, Robert LeBlanc. So a third and long situation. We'll see. Macedo actually on that reception. Steven Macedo, the junior. And they're going to keep it on the ground and keep it on the edge right into your screen. Popped out of bounds. Well, it's Carson once again. And there's going to be a flag, so we'll see.
Talk it over and about 6 yards. He's run out of bounds by Jack Chesney. Comes up limping and coming off the field here.
A big call coming up for this Hurricane defense. They can get off the field. But chewed up about 7 minutes and got nothing out of that last possession. Practically used the entire third quarter. We're only 3:25 left. And that one's against the defense. Wow. So this will keep the drive alive for the Panthers, already up 28. Automatic first. Panthers on the move now. Ball spotted just across the 20. We'll call it 1st and 10 at the 19. Shores in trouble. We've got a 2-back set. 1 wide to the near, 2 to the far, and they're going to keep it on the ground. Off tackle, Carson has been the workhorse tonight. He gets about 5. That'll bring it up to around the 15-yard line.
It's interesting because we saw a lot of carry on in the early on in the game. I wouldn't consider. I talked to Coach Miller about this. I wouldn't consider a lot of these guys backups. To say, I don't think that'd be the right term because these guys are rotating out throughout the entire game. Who's going to start?
Yeah.
I don't think that makes the biggest difference.
So under 3 now. They put it up in the air. They go in a little screen near side. And good defensive stop by the Hurricanes. Damage still done. Giselle McGee, 6'2", 180.
First down.
They still be close to first yard position. Maybe about a yard short, though. As they go with the wide receiver screen. So 2 backs in the backfield with Miller. They decide to keep it on the ground, plowing ahead, and he will have enough. It'll be first and goal coming up on the carry that time. Aquaviva.
Under center now, Jordan, sophomore. Quarterback now for the Panthers.
And it looks like we're going to get a new quarterback in the game.
So we got some Demetrius Rufus. He got a little action.
I think it's number 12. Yep, number 12 steps in the game.
Jordan Sopoviva, excuse me. He is actually in the contest, getting some valuable playing time. I kept speaking to Rufus.
Yeah, Rufus number 15 at defensive back.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised, though. Get a little wildcat. Get a little wildcat action. Rufus got the speed to get around the edge, but I think with the running backs, I mean, they're stacked at running back. Between Carson, Carrion, those guys can take a snap any day of the week, I think.
So it was a false start. So Sopoviva will get his first play with a little screen pass, and let's Carson make something out of nothing. 5 or 6 on the game. So this is valuable playing time.
This is. It is. And that's a great point because, as you can see, not only is he in the game, but you still have key players in the game that are going to make him look great.
Yeah.
So he's getting experience with the starters. You're not getting the entire second team.
So the sophomore, 5'11", 170, Jordan Sopovita. And those are the quick pass. He gets it in, and he will have a touchdown in his stat column tonight. And here we go with the running clock. Extra point ensuing. And I believe that was Robert LeBlanc taking that one in from about 5 yards out. Extra point attempt coming up, which will make it 42-7.
Well, you said 7 minutes for Coral Shores offensively. Burned out about 7 minutes.
With nothing to show for it.
Nothing to show for it. Panthers put something on the board within what? 4 minutes?
Yep.
5 minutes?
Yep.
We have 54 seconds.
54 seconds remaining here in the third quarter of play. Charter spanking, visiting Coral Shores Hurricanes. And I have been incorrect. I want to correct myself. Next week, Charter will be on the road facing Westminster Academy.
Yes.
Coral Shores will take on Pinecrest.
Charter just beat Pinecrest this past week.
Yes.
Went to Pinecrest and
One
came out
big
with a
up there,
W.
35-6.
Yep.
So Charter finally coming alive, coming into this one averaging 43 points per game, only allowing 5. Always pretty close to that. 42 on the board right now, with 54 seconds remaining in the third quarter play, and holding the visitors to 7 points.
I'll tell you one thing, Charter has an outstanding highlight tape so far for the offensive side. And not only the offense, but the defense. These guys come downhill like we're seeing Zach Weber. These guys are like this every single game.
Yeah.
And we get some defensive line action out there too. Chris Judge, a couple weeks back, coming up with an interception for the return touchdown. Love seeing those big boys.
So, Hurricanes trying to go back to work. At the 15. Grabbed. Stopped immediately. number 23, Dominic Grassi, a nice special teams tackle. And on the return, Kelvin Felder.
And it looks that we have a hurricane down on the field. Maybe a cramp.
Yeah, humid night. You know, it is somewhat cool, but humidity out there.
Somewhat cool. Speaking like a true Floridian.
Exactly, yeah.
True
Gotta use
Floridian.
somewhat.
It's not 100
Catch
degrees
a breeze
outside,
every
so
once in a
it's
while.
cool. It might have been 100 degrees today down here. And now we got, looks like some lightning showers in the sky. So, and it sounds like the announcers, we possibly might have a lightning detecting warning.
Well, this one should be over in 5 or 10 minutes anyway.
Right, running
clock that will start
32
soon.
seconds
Yeah.
left in the third quarter with a 42-7 lead, and they got the injured hurricane off the field. And this is probably going to be the last play of the third quarter, leading us into a running clock in the fourth quarter. So we should be out of here in no time.
And this one will speed up quickly, folks. 42-7 is the count. Charter in control pretty much from the beginning. Hurricanes have been able to implement their game plan, but the problem with that is that if you got to score quick when you're a running team,
right,
and you give up as many points as they have, you're in the hole.
Well, this is the first game we've seen where you talk about controlling the clock. That's an understatement, talking about the Hurricanes, because like we said in the third quarter, these guys are going for 7-8 minutes at a time. I mean, that's outstanding, but it also has to convert with points on the board. So we enter this fourth quarter with the Panthers up 42-7. We got 12 minutes to get out of here before we get a lightning delay. They're going to exchange fields once again. Thank you for joining us from wherever you are, whether it's nationally or worldwide. We love the shout-outs on Twitter. We thank you from all of our streaming partners that are helping support this broadcast tonight. We're in Coral Springs, Florida at the Sportsplex in Coral Springs. Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins bringing you live action all season. Projected 19 games. We're going to see if we can hit that mark. We got a bunch of Dade County as well, Thursday and Saturday games, but Friday we are booked. We got a lot going on in Coral Springs Charter being one of the few schools that we are partnered with this season, so you're going to see a lot of action from them.
Canes throw it up, picked off, and got some real estate. Finally took down, third turnover of the contest. So that adds insult to injury if you're a Hurricanes fan. Charter with an opportunity to punch it in yet again, deep inside of Coral Shores territory.
It looks like we're going to see backup quarterback Jordan hit the field again. We're not even going to try and say his last name. Butcher it.
I hope I'm not butchering it.
Sepulveda. We'll go with that.
I would think that if you're Charter, you're probably going to keep it on the ground.
I'd probably keep it on the ground.
Nonetheless, clock will be moving. And they do keep it on the ground. Minimal gain that time.
I agree. I'd probably keep it on the ground. But at the same time, you get a chance, like you said early on, you want to take advantage of those reps. Especially when you still have guys in the game. You know, you're still rotating first-string guys potentially in the game. So right now is a great time. Jordan, open up the arm maybe. That's where I stand.
Yeah.
I don't want to hurt any feelings, though. You know, we don't want to run up the score.
Of course. And they go with another run. This time to Aquaviva on the carry on the last tote. Content to keep it on the ground, and clock is ticking away. Coming up on 10 minutes now left here in regulation. 42-7 the count, trying to beat this lightning delay and get up out of here. Charter well in control, being in control led by at least 14 the entire game. Jordan Sepulveda. They go with another carry, and a late flag comes into the contest. We'll see what's going on with that. Aquavita on the carry. Having a look around this pole, see what's going on.
That pole is something else.
So it's going to be holding against Charter. Bring them back 10.
We could spend a whole halftime on that pole of commentary. But hey, there's ways around it. There are ways around it, and we've almost accomplished it. Excuse me.
Okay, so the 10-yard penalty brings up a third down situation. And they spread them out and keep it on the ground once again. Aquavita had something, hold close real quick. Giovanetti, one of the big players for Coral Shores, and he gets the stop. I haven't mentioned his name a whole lot, but he's a big man, 5'10", 300 pound at that nose guard spot. So Charter stopped. Bloshinsky on for the field goal. Looks like about a 35-yarder, we'll call it. Snap is back. And this kick is up. Well, it's squeaking that right upright. And it does.
The kickers need love too. I'll tell you, these guys, it's a joy going to the Charter practice. Number one, majority of these guys have a great sense of humor. But hanging out with the kicker and the punter, these guys, they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
They take their job serious, most importantly, but they also have a good job, or they have a good time.
45-7 the count. Tick, 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 tick. Clock running. Coming up on 7-minute mark here in this one. Coming to you live from the Sportsplex here in Coral Springs, Florida. Chris Jenkins and Ryan Stout here on HSPN Sports. Wherever you may be listening or watching, we thank you for doing so. Coral Springs Charter in their home opener, putting it to the visitors and getting a little revenge in the process from Coral Shores.
Johnny, you gonna have a copy of this up on what will it be on HSPN? HSPN Sports.com.
So Hurricanes, they'll get another shot.
HSPN Sports. And watch a replay of tonight's game. HSPN on your YouTube channel.
Okay, so the Hurricanes getting a little run back opportunity.
Good coverage downfield by the Panthers special teams. First down, Hurricanes.
They're still going to kill it, probably right at the 20. So good special teams play by Charter, not allowing them to get any further. Just as well as had a touchback. And a quick timeout.
Timeout here for water break, as they do every quarter around the 6-minute mark. So, you know what? I can use a little water.
Well, with a running clock.
Yeah.
And a little lightning in the area once again. If we get called out shortly, we will cut it off. And that gives us 6:29 left here in the fourth quarter. Charter up on top, rotating some guys to get some experience. Coral Shores is going to open up this series, though. We can project that they're going to run the ball.
Really all that's left to the imagination.
I think there's a
who's
sense of
going to get
pride.
in.
Just sense of pride. I think Coach Holly's, you take it by a grain of salt. And
well, he said
point,
something very interesting, Ryan, before this game started. You know, I said, you're looking to pick up your first win of the season. What do you need to do? And he said, you know what? We're not even looking at it that way. We're trying to get our first down. and we'll take it from there. We'll build from there.
I guess that's a positive way of looking at things.
We just want to get first downs and keep building. So they'll keep it on the ground as customary.
I think the most important thing is just keeping that sense of pride, staying out there. You know, while they have it, do what they can. And ultimately, hopefully, we don't see any unsportsmanlike conduct. Guys getting too frustrated. We've seen a couple of those in these past couple weeks.
We've seen a
our fair
season
share
full of that madness.
So we've come into the independent conference,
Yeah.
and we haven't seen as much.
Yeah, they kept it classy tonight, which is good. Hurricanes keeping it on the ground. And still making something happen. A host of charter players bringing him down, but nice carry once again. One of the bright spots, Ariel Carrero. He has run very hard tonight. The senior, 5'11", 205. Running back, one of the few seniors on this team. As I said, only 6 seniors on this Coral Shores team. 19 sophomores, though, 11 juniors. So they have better times to look forward to. This is a team that went 7-3 last year. Right. So they're not used to being on this side of it. Right. And as we've spoke about a few times, got a huge win over the eventual runner-up of the championship.
Exactly. Coral Shores, one of only 2 teams that beat Charter last year. Calvary beating them in the regular season, but also meeting them in the championship game. So we're talking about the runner-up. They're playing up against the runner-up right now, second team.
Yes.
And Charter has definitely proven themselves thus far during the season and obviously last year with their championship.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. If you are a Panther, they will be moving to 3-0 in a matter of minutes. On the road at Westminster Academy. They are no slouch. So the meat of their schedule coming up, alluded to earlier. And you've got Shores at home facing Pinecrest. But this charter team, they can really only hurt themselves.
Right. At this point, Charter still the
Yes. Wheaton on the carry. He's getting a little game action for him. The junior getting his first carry of the night. It's all academic, folks. Just waiting on the final horn to sound. This one's pretty much been in Charter's hands all night. They've had no less than a 14-point lead throughout. And they are going to move to 3-0. Hurricanes will drop to 0-3. This one's over. Wheaton, another big carry, pushing defenders, and that'll keep the sticks moving. And we're under a minute now. I think Charter will probably hold them out of the end zone. Clock ticking. This fourth quarter flown by so far here in this one.
Well, big-time players make big-time plays, and tonight we've seen out of the entire Charter team, but our impact players for tonight, A.J. Miller, John Multimer, Rafael Rodriguez, and Zach Weber, alongside the entire Charter Panthers team. Great job tonight by these young men on both sides of the ball, and Coral Shores is going to air it out for one last drive. My goodness,
Ryan.
My goodness.
Wow.
44 yards.
And the Hurricanes go out with a bang and put it in.
That was, I believe,
to close this one out. 11 ticks remaining in the fourth, and the Hurricanes.
That's number 5 on the reception.
Wow. Elijah Woods, sophomore, pulling that one in.
Big time play. And like I said,
Huge.
big time players make big time plays, and Coral Shores is going to go out, like you said,
And I want to say that
bang.
was about a 70-yard catch from Woods, by Woods, from Bennett.
Quarterback's got an arm.
Excuse me. Say that again?
Quarterback's got an arm.
Oh, yeah. Warren,
It's
he's
either-
shown he can throw a no spiral. I misspoke. It was Warren still in there.
I can understand having a decent running game, but if the quarterback can air it out like that, I don't want to
Yeah.
call it luck, but that was a big time play right there.
But good defensive coverage nonetheless from
Yes,
Charter. Just
absolutely.
a better catch.
Absolutely.
45 yards out. Just a straight fly right.
That's going to put 14 on the board potentially for the Hurricanes with only 11 seconds left in this game.
Nice catch. Good coverage on the play.
And the extra point is good. So 11.2 on the clock. Hurricanes strike last. That'll probably be the last play of
Yep.
the contest.
It looks like our kickoff will probably be the last play, like you're saying.
I know they're going to start it, so that was good.
So they start the clock. They don't even allow the play to even happen.
Okay.
45 to 40.
Well, that'll do it.
Probably for the best in the region.
HSBNSports.com bringing to you live high school sports. Football season is back. We are glad. Third week into the season. We're up here in Coral Springs. We're glad that you joined us tonight from wherever, if it was nationwide, if it was worldwide. Big shout out to all of our streaming partners and the people that made this broadcast possible tonight. Once again, Chris Jenkins on the mic. Any last words, Chris?
If I had to pick a player of the game, you're looking at Kalen Carson, Calvin Jackson, or you could even go with the new man on the block, Michael Carrion.
Are we flipping a coin?
Yeah, we'll flip a coin.
We'll flip a coin. You heard it. Well, big time players, big time plays. We're bringing live action every single week, every Friday night. Could be a Thursday, Saturday. Hey, stay tuned with us throughout the entire season. We're glad we can spotlight these athletes, whether it may be Dade County, Broward County, Independent League. We're here to support you regardless. And also, we want to give a big thanks to all those that serve us, military and our first responders. Locally, nationally, we want to give a big shout out, and we also send our prayers. It is a big day, a day to remember in American history, September 11th. We send our prayers and all our love and support to those that went through September 11th.
Absolutely, absolutely. Keep them in our thoughts and prayers to the families on a special, yet somber day.
Yes. So catch us next week. Once again, Ryan Stout alongside Chris Jenkins. We're bringing you live action every week. We thank you, and we'll see you next time. Good night.
Be right back.